The Chase Trifecta is one of the more well-known credit card setups out there. However, in 2024, there are so many great setups that you can choose. So the question really becomes, is the Chase Trifecta still worth building? Being someone that does actively hold and use this setup, short answer is yes, I do think it is worth building. However, if you are still looking at it or even already do have it, there's so much that you need to know about the setup to get the full value out of it. The setup is composed of 3 main cards, the first being the Chase Freedom Unlimited, which will act as your catch-all credit card, the Chase Freedom Flex, which is your flex and utility credit card, and finally, either the Chase Sapphire Preferred or the Chase Sapphire Reserve as your designated travel credit cards. Now we're going to go through how to actually use each credit card to get the most value, but a big reason that so many people will get this setup is for the transfer partners and the travel benefits that we will see later on in the video. But first, taking a look at the annual fees required to build the setup, for Chase Freedom Unlimited and Chase Freedom Flex cards are going to have no annual fees, which is always a win. Where we will see fees introduced is with our Chase Sapphire cards. The Chase Sapphire Preferred has the lower annual fee at $95 per year to carry it. The Chase Sapphire Reserve has a $550 annual fee. With that though, you'll get more credits for travel and add more value to your lineup. So right away, if you are going to build the setup, you will have to make a choice on which Sapphire card you will want. I, and like many other people, went the Sapphire Preferred, so you can still get a ton of value with it without breaking the bank paying over $500 for a credit card. And just to highlight why I do like the Chase Trifecta, the fees honestly are not that bad compared to some other lineups out there. On one end, we're going to see Wells Fargo with a no annual fee setup or $95 annual fee setup. But on the complete other end of the spectrum, we have American Express. And to get their setup, you're going to be paying just shy of $1,000. But going back to the credit cards, I now want to share how and where you should use each card to get the most cash back and value from them. First, taking a look at the Chase Freedom Unlimited, this card is going to be able to earn you 5% cash back on your Chase purchase travel, 3% cash back on your dining and drugstore purchases, and 1.5% cash back everywhere else. So if you are looking to build this setup, I'd recommend getting this card first, as you'll get it and be able to use that 1.5% everywhere that you do go. If you're someone that's already built the setup like myself, I would say that this card's primarily only going to be used for that 1.5% cash back. Typically, you can get the same travel benefits with one of these Sapphire cards, and your Freedom Flex can give you the same on those drugstores and dining. And that is one of my downsides to this credit card setup. With Chase, there's going to be a lot of overlap between the credit cards for some spending categories. I personally wish they'd include some things for groceries on some cards or gas, but even without those spending categories, you're still going to get a lot of value. So the second card in our lineup is going to be the Chase Freedom Flex. This card is going to sound similar at first to the Chase Freedom Unlimited. You can earn 1% cash back everywhere you go, 3% cash back on your dining and drugstore purchases, 5% cash back on your Chase purchase travel. But where this card differs, you're going to be able to earn 5% cash back on rotating quarterly categories throughout the course of the year. And really, there's going to be a ton of variety with this credit card throughout the course of the year to lock up 5% cash back on. Some quarters you won't be able to use this card much, admittedly. However, when that quarter does line up for, say, grocery purchases or your gas purchases, you're going to be using this card a lot. So breaking down what we've seen so far, our Chase Freedom Unlimited is going to be used for 1.5% cash back everywhere we go. And our Freedom Flex is going to be used to lock up 5% cash back on rotating categories. And right now, you're going to use either card for travel, and you can use them for drugstore and dining purchases. Now let's talk about the Chase Sapphire cards, beginning with the Chase Sapphire Preferred, which was that $95 annual fee credit card. This card will allow you 5 times points in your Chase travel, 2 times points on all other travel, 3 times points on dining, 3 times points on your online grocery orders, 3 times points on select streaming services, as well as 1 times points everywhere else. There's still great utility with this credit card, but I would love to see some different categories that aren't directly on the other cards as well. Also included with this credit card is going to be a $50 statement credit for a hotel stay every single year. There's also going to be $150 of partner benefits and value for you to take advantage of. This will include a complimentary DoorDash Dash Pass subscription valued at $120 for the whole year. You will also have the opportunity to earn 5 times points back on your Peloton and Lyft rides. But the biggest perk and the reason I chose this card is you can get an additional 25% cash back on every single point you redeem for travel in the Chase portal. This perk alone is why I decided to build myself up in Chase and why so many other people do as well. It's a way that you can take, say, 100,000 Chase points valued at $1,000, just use those points for travel and get an additional $250 of cash back right away. I should also mention, if it isn't clear, you're going to be able to pool all your points from these cards onto the Sapphire Preferred. So all those points you're earning with your Freedom cards can go right over to the Preferred to get that same boost onto it. This card is also going to grant us those transfer partners, which we will look at right after we talk about the Chase Sapphire Reserve. But the way I would recommend using this card is as your designated travel and dining credit card. Now let's take a look at the Chase Sapphire Reserve, which has that high annual fee of $550. With this credit card, you can earn 5 times points on your flights purchased through Chase, 10 times points on your hotels and rental cars through Chase, 3 times points on your dining, 3 times points on all other travel, then 10 times points on your dining purchased through Chase. This credit card is also going to give us a $300 annual travel credit to use. There's also going to be $1,000 of partner benefits that I'll quickly go over. This is going to include 2 years of Lyft Pink All Access valued at $199 per year. There will be that complimentary Dash Pass subscription that we saw with the Preferred valued at $120 each year, as well as $5 monthly statement credits for DoorDash, which will be $60 over the course of 12 months. You're going to have access to over 1,300 airport lounges with this credit card, which is valued at around $500. You're going to receive perks through the edit, including a $100 experience credit and some breakfast for 2. Finally, you can earn 10 times points back on your Peloton purchases. Now, there are a lot of details that I quickly went over with this card. For more in-depth review on the Sapphire Reserve and all the other cards I'm talking about today, go check out the description for those individual card reviews. And similar to the Sapphire Preferred, the big reason that people like to carry this card, for every point you redeem in the Chase portal for travel, you'll get an additional 50% boost onto it. And using the same numbers earlier, if I had 100,000 Chase points worth around $1,000 and I use this card for that travel, that will then turn into 150,000 Chase points for an immediate $500 boost right away. But one final look for how this setup will be used. Our Chase Freedom Unlimited is going to be used for 1.5% cashback everywhere you go. I would use our Chase Freedom Flex for those 5% on our rotating categories and lock up 3% cashback on our drugstore related purchases. Then if you have that Chase Sapphire Preferred, you're going to use that for all of your travel purchases to lock up 5 times points back. And then you can lock up 3 times points back on your online groceries, select streaming services, as well as dining. Or if you have the Reserve, you're going to lock up the 10 times points back on your hotels and rental cars, 5 times points on your flights, as well as your other travel and dining related purchases. And one last note before talking about this transfer partners, if you are looking to build a lot of Chase points real quickly, be sure to take advantage of the sign-up bonuses and build this card setup over time. For myself, just by taking advantage of the Freedom Flex sign-up bonus I got, I was able to get 20,000 extra points there. My Freedom Unlimited bonus gave me an extra 1.5% cash back for the entire first year, which equated to a lot of extra points. And I received the bonus for my Sapphire Preferred of 75,000 points. So right away, I was able to accumulate almost 100,000 Chase points in the matter of 1 year by just using these cards for those sign-up bonuses. Now, if I go to travel, I'll get even more value. So definitely do not sleep on sign-up bonuses. Be sure to plan them out so you don't miss them. But looking at how we can use our cash back, you can take it for straight cash back, you can get gift cards, or use the transfer partners with the Sapphire credit cards. With Chase, you're going to have access to 14 transfer partners, 11 of which are airlines, 3 of which are hotels. Every single one of these transfer partners will give you a 1-to-1 point ratio. As for the actual value of our cash back and those points, if you redeem for straight cash back, it'll be valued at 1 cent per point. But if you do go to use these transfer partners and use your points for travel, Chase is one of the highest point value redemptions at around 2 cents per point. Looking a bit closer at our transfer partners, for those airlines, our list is going to include Aer Lingus, Air Canada, British Airways, Emirates, Air France, Iberia Plus, JetBlue, Singapore, Southwest, and then finally United and Virgin Atlantic. As for our hotel partners, they're going to include IHG, World of Hyatt, and Marriott Bonvoy. Now, if you are planning on building this setup, one thing that you need to be aware of is the Chase 524 rule. This rule essentially breaks down to you will be outright denied if you've applied for 5 or more credit cards in the past 24 months and then go to apply for another Chase card. This is an unofficial official rule. By that I mean it's not necessarily stated, but it's common practice in the credit card community. And this rule is not just limited to our Chase cards, any credit cards out there. The reason I bring this up is if you are building the setup, be sure to prioritize those Chase cards prior to other credit cards out there if you really do want to build this setup. For myself, I built this setup over the course of 11 months, which is pretty quick. This setup will take time. It could be 1.5 to 2 years before you acquire this trifecta solely because of this rule. And some of the things that I did not cover in today's video are going to include some specifics with travel insurances and protections built into these credit cards and a lot of those smaller details. Like I said earlier, go check out my in-depth reviews on each card if that is of interest to you. And one last note, I do not think you can go wrong getting the Chase Trifecta. I am biased towards it as I do carry it myself. But if you're not necessarily sure that you want this one, be sure to check out the Wells Fargo Trifecta, the American Express Trifecta, Capital One Duo. There are so many great setups out there. You can mix and match between different systems. I'll have videos on a lot of different setups down below and on the channel. But at the end of the day, you can't go wrong getting the Chase Trifecta. Let me know down below if you carry any of these cards or actually have the trifecta and what your thoughts are on it. While you're down there, if you guys could go hit like and subscribe on the video, it really helps me grow the channel to continue to put out more content for y'all to help with your credit card journeys. I really appreciate y'all watching this long. I'll see you in the next video.